Hello, welcome. My name is Sandy Lerman, and I'm so glad that you're taking this time out to watch this video to learn a little bit more about the Heartstrong International Certification Programs for professional parent coaches and educational trainers. So I really am glad that you've decided to come today because this is a program that I think is really going to help you if you are someone who is passionate about children and helping families and also helping teachers. We are going to be talking about the program and giving you a little bit more details about our upcoming cohort in June. And as I said, I'm Sandy Lerman. I created the program and I also am the instructor for the program. We've been around since about 2014. So Heartstrong International started out as a parent coaching business. I was a parent at the time and learning and growing and implementing some new ideas, and parents found out about me, so I started reaching out to other parents, and just developed into a business that was kind of organically grown because of a very strong need for this kind of information. So we really want to bring hope and healing to as many children as possible, whether that's through parents or through their teachers at school. You are in the right place and you would be an excellent fit for this program if you're a parent or a teacher or an educational professional who really loves children and their families. And maybe you already have some understanding of the impact of trauma and ACEs on children, how anxiety and mental health challenges affect them. And you know that these children really do need a different kind of approach than that traditional punitive approach. We need to use compassion and connection to really bridge that gap and bring the growth and the healing that they need. You're also in the right place, and you would be an excellent fit for this program if you want to make a positive impact and become a trusted expert in the field of trauma responsive practices that support growth and healing. And you're also like me, which means that you are a little bit nerdy. You love to read, you love the research, you love to know really the why behind the methods that we choose. So, we have been a trusted provider for advanced professional training since 2014, and we're guided by our values of creativity, courage, and compassion. So the goal is for this company, our goal is to train as many coaches and trainers as we can so that they can go out and expand our reach and our impact. We really want to build a more creative, courageous, and a compassionate world because the next generation, they are going to be the leaders, and they're going to be taking over for us someday. So we want to build really heart-strong children who are going to grow up to be heart-strong adults. So this is a little bit about my background. I'm a former classroom teacher for over 20 years. I taught mostly high school, but also elementary school, English as a second language, and English language arts. I lived in Mexico for a while. I've taught in deaf education programs, and as well as being a sign language interpreter. So lots of different variety of educational experiences. But I'm very passionate about diversity, equity, and inclusion for all children, regardless of background or culture. I've been in the field of TESOL for a number of years. I have real strong passion for our immigrant kids. So I'm also a parent. I have a child who is now 20, and he was adopted at age 10. He came to me with very severe mental health challenges as a result of developmental trauma. So Hero is my child, and he is also my hero. And he is the one who really kind of sparked this interest in trauma and how to help kids heal and grow. So I started parent coaching in 2014, and I've added on more information for teachers as well. For a while, I was working at a university program that trained teachers in the field of trauma-informed educational practices. I'm a certified professional coach. I'm a certified mental health first aid trainer and certified QPR suicide prevention trainer. And I've worked for nonprofit and governmental agencies in Ohio and Indiana. And I currently work as a community educator for a mental health agency, um, traveling when we can safely, but also by Zoom, to support families and communities and just people who need information about mental health and trauma and preventing things from happening that are going to be hurtful, and just helping people to heal and grow. So this is my son. This is my beautiful now 20-year-old. Can't believe it's kind of an old picture, but Hero was adopted and I brought him home when he was 10. So at that time, he had no fully developed language. He's profoundly deaf. I taught him sign language and then he learned sign language in the deaf community here in the States. But he was really traumatized by his early childhood experiences, being in an orphanage, being the only deaf child. Took us 4 years to complete the adoption. And then by the time I got him home at age 10, he had just had some very severe behaviors that were really hard to manage for me as a single mom. Very explosive, very aggressive. And I was really in over my head, to be honest. I tried everything. I really did. I'd been a teacher for years and years. So it wasn't like I didn't know anything about how to manage behaviors. But with Hero, it was just it was so aggressive that it was dangerous at times. And there were times when I was afraid for my life because he was so aggressive, and he was a big kid and very strong. And it was terrifying and it was heartbreaking because I had worked so hard to bring him home and I wanted to be a successful mom. So I really have a lot of empathy and compassion for parents who are struggling with these really challenging behaviors, that nobody seems to know what to do about, right? They tell you, give them medication, send them to the hospital, call 911. But then what do you do when the child comes back home? How do you parent this child? And how do you teach them in a classroom if they're having aggressive, explosive behaviors, or if they're shut down, withdrawn, having meltdowns? There's got to be a way to help them. And so I became kind of a mama bear, bulldozer, looking into the research, trying to figure out what to do to help this kid because medication wasn't helping. Hospitalization and inpatient stays weren't really helping. It was just making things worse. So again, I really dove into all of the information that I could find. I looked into parenting information, but I also looked at research in trauma, big T trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, war veterans, how they cope and heal from trauma, looking at personal development information, how to change the inner narrative, just many, many different resources that I thought could inform my own parenting. And I started sharing and blogging and talking to other parents about all of this. So I found that there was a real need for this information. So I informally started coaching and teaching and training, and then I created a business from that information. So I developed a new approach. So this Heartstrong approach is based on some of the literature about connected parenting that you may already be familiar with, but I added some additional layers that I felt were missing from everything that I looked at. I experimented with, a lot of different things, but then I developed this Heartstrong model, which is really based on regulation and relationship, but also on changing that inner narrative that our kids have, changing their beliefs about who they are so that they can really see a vision for an optimistic future for themselves. And if there's a focus on that growth and a focus on that healing process, it requires a radical acceptance of exactly where they are right now, with that optimism that they can improve, with unconditional positive regard. We don't need to be upset or angry at our children for being who they are, for not being perfect. I'm certainly not perfect, and I don't know any adult that's perfect. We're all on a journey of growth and healing, but relationship is that foundation for change. So this is the model that I developed. It's based on some of Bruce Perry's work. It's based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Piaget's stages of development. There's lots of good research that goes behind this, but this is just a way that I conceptualize the 4 stages that children need to go through, children and adults, as they're growing and healing from developmental trauma, and as they're learning to trust and learning to have a positive narrative for resilience. And as I started developing this model and teaching people and training and working with parents, I realized that, at the time I was working part-time doing this coaching, and I was also teaching. And I ended up not being able to continue teaching full-time because I was spending more time with my son because of his complex medical needs. And I thought, maybe I'll just make this a business and see if I can do this on my own time. And it turned out to be one of the best decisions I ever made because I was able to create my own schedule. set my own hours, have time freedom, have the flexibility and the independence to do what I need to do for my son and for my family and for myself, while at the same time running a business and helping lots of people doing something that I'm really passionate about. So I am here to tell you that you can do this too. So I wanted to tell you my story so that you know that if you're in a situation where you really are not wanting to do what you're doing now, or you want to supplement your income by starting a business, or maybe you're just really passionate about trauma, you really just want to help kids and you want to help families, you want to help teachers. Either way, you can decide to continue working a day job, or you can use this and create your own business supporting parents and supporting teachers. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Um, this certification program, it's designed to show you exactly how to use all the information within the Heartstrong model, all of the research-based, proven systems that are going to help provide growth and healing for children, whether they're in the classroom or at home or both. And you can also start a business if that's something you like to do. So let me tell you what makes our program a little bit different from other parent coach training programs and other educational programs. We are filled with the best, most up-to-date information and research pertaining to childhood development and trauma, as well as post-traumatic growth and healing. I really pride myself on this. I'm continually adding new resources to our reading list, and always in touch with people out there in the field. And I've designed it with a variety of professional options, whether you want to use it in your current role, or if you want to use this for professional advancement, or even if you want to start your own business. I don't know any other trauma-informed educator programs that are out there that are specifically designed for those who want to become educational trainers or workshop leaders or speakers. This is actually contains the business training within the program that you can use as an option, or if you don't want to start a business, you can still use all of the information right away in your classroom or in your parenting. Our program is also really intensive. It's a 6-month program that's spread out over 7 months with a 1-month interim. So it's more than a one-day workshop. You know, I've been to IEP meetings where the school leaders told me, oh, we're a trauma-informed school. And I said, really? Tell me how you became a trauma-informed school. They said, well, we hired a trauma-informed trainer. They came and they gave us a one-day, all-day workshop. And I thought to myself, wow, an all-day workshop is great, but there's so much information that you need to really implement this effectively. So this is more than a one-day workshop. This is a 6-month program where you're going to do a deep dive and learn all of the most important foundations for transformation and impact that you need to support children, no matter what the context. So it's comparable. I really believe, and I pride myself on this because I used to teach at a master's level program for trauma-informed educators, and that it was a good program, but this is an excellent program. This combines research and very practical, hands-on, proven techniques that really support children and help them grow. And we read books. So if you're not a reader, this might be a challenging program for you, but if you love to read and you like to study and you're interested in having discussions about what's going to work to help these kids, then this is a great program for you. So we are the only comprehensive professional certification program with an emphasis on trauma responsive practices taught by a seasoned teacher, trainer, and business owner. That's me, who is also the parent of a child with trauma, ACEs, and anxiety. So I have both hats, right? I'm a teacher and I'm a parent. So you, as an educator, you need to be able to help parents as well. And as a parent, you need to be able to work with educators. So I think having both of those lenses is essential for the teamwork that we need to have to help the child be successful. It's a comprehensive training. So we cover the impact of trauma and ACEs. We talk about the brain and the neurobiology of trauma. We use multiple evidence-based tools within the framework of this Heartstrong model. We emphasize equity and inclusion, advocacy, educator and parent support, self-care, and it includes a bonus business training, which is a whole month of practical information that you need, everything you need to know to start your own business. So if you're thinking about joining the program, there are two programs. There's the Certified Parent Coach, we call it the CPC program. If you choose that program, you would learn to work directly with parents or caregivers who are raising children with trauma, ACEs, or anxiety. You can do this in one-to-one coaching over the phone. You can do group programs, or you might be a parent liaison within a school system. Or you could become a certified educational trainer. That's our CET program. So our CET program, we train those folks to work with teachers and other educational professionals to train other educators about trauma responsive practices in classrooms and school settings. So this is a great program for any teacher, educator. I've had educational leaders in the program. We've had even instructional aides have taken the program, just anybody who's really passionate about helping kids in schools. And this program is going to help you learn how to effectively work with other educators to coach and train them to use these practices to support their children. If you want to do both, as I mentioned before, educators need to know how to help parents and parents need to know how to work with educators, right? So if you are passionate about both of these, if you're a parent and a teacher, or you have some educational background, you may want to choose to do the dual certification track. So that is for those of you who want to become both an educational trainer and a parent coach. You may end up using one more than the other, but it's great to have both of them as a backup. You might want to do educational training during your day, and then in the evenings, you could do some private parent coaching and earn a nice side income for that. Again, we have the CPC, the CET, or the dual certification. And that's going to really, regardless of whether you decide to start your own business, it's really going to help you whatever your current role is working with children. So if you're a parent, you're going to learn great ideas and strategies and tools to help your children. If you're a teacher, an educator, you're going to learn some strategy you can use right away. So this is going to help you regardless of what you decide to do career-wise. But it's also going to give you that expertise that you can put on your resume. And then when you apply for jobs, or if you want to advance in your current career, you're going to be the building expert. You're going to be the one who has the qualification and the experience and the training to know what to do. And then we have that bonus business course. So this used to be a separate track, but I've decided to include it as part of the program for everyone because I think in these times, the way things change economically, it's really important for everybody to have a backup plan. So knowing that you have a little bit of wisdom and knowledge about how to start a business, if you were to choose to do that either now or at some point in the future, you'll have access to that course and you can listen to it or watch the training or read the information anytime that you choose to do that. This is the curriculum and schedule. Not going to go too in detail here. You can read through it, but we have 2 quarters. So each quarter is 3 months long. And then there's a 1-month interim between the 2 quarters. So for this upcoming cohort, we'll start in June 2021 of 3 months of a combined cohort of the CET and the CPC folks will be together, learning all the basic information. And then we have quarter 2, which is your hands-on practicum or training in the trenches course. So this is where you're actually going to roll up your sleeves and do some actual parent coaching or actual educational training with my guidance and my support and my feedback. And you'll have a portfolio, those of you who are educational trainers, that you'll put together. Those of you who are parent wanting to be parent coaches, you'll do a practicum where you'll actually parent actual parents. You will actually coach them to get some experience and really start to use the techniques that you're learning. So take a look here. I'll give you a minute just to read through quarter 1. You can see there are 3 courses. Month 1 is our foundations course where we learn all about trauma and adversity, how it affects the brain and the body, self-care, self-compassion, and mind-body resilience for parents and educators, growth healing, and the Heartstrong model. Month 2 is transformation. So this is where we learn about that growth model that I created that I felt like was missing from so many programs. Behavior, discipline, social emotional support for children with trauma and ACEs, the spiraling stages of growth, the nervous system regulation, and the spiraling stages of growth executive function. And then in month 3, impact, you'll learn trauma, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, and mental health. Heartstrong adult teamwork, parents, teachers, and service providers all working together, and then paradigm shifts for system change. Quarter two for the parent coach trainees is your advanced parent coaching and the Heartstrong model, parent coaching practicum, and then a business foundations course specifically designed for parent coaches. Quarter two, you have your coaching practicum, and then you'll have this is the list of all the things that you'll have as a result of your practicum. So you're going to leave this practicum with some really great experience that you can use. You'll have testimonials. You may even have clients before you leave the program. Quarter two for the educational trainers, you will learn about best practices and learning principles for trainers. You'll be doing some presentations and professional development, and you'll create a portfolio so that you'll be ready to go as soon as you leave this program, or even before. I already have educational trainers that are out there doing amazing things. They're doing monthly workshops and getting some credibility out in the field and getting hired to do some training. So you're going to be ready to hit the ground running as soon as you end this program. So you'll have a final portfolio. You're going to have a videotape of one of your presentations. You'll have your speaker sheet. You're going to have do all of these wonderful. You're going to be able to incorporate the information that you've learned into an actual presentation so that you'll have that experience. So here are the dates for the upcoming cohort. We start in June. First quarter is June, July, and August, with an interim break in September. And then we come back in October for second quarter, October, November, and December. We always have the last week of the month as a sort of a catch-up week. And it's just a time for you to finish redoing your readings and your assignments. So this works out nicely in November, December, because we don't conflict with the Western holidays. And the schedule is that we have Zoom meetings on a weekly basis, once a week in the evenings for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. The day will be announced before when you enroll. I'll let you know when that's going to be. Usually it's on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. It just depends on how many cohorts that we have running at one time. And then again, as I mentioned, you meet only for the first 3 weeks of each month, and then you have 1 week off. Program tuition. So let's talk about that. I'm sure you're interested in knowing what that is. So think about this though, before we talk about tuition. Whenever you're choosing a professional training, you need to think about what you're going to use it for and what the purpose and your reasoning for joining it, right? So if you do a graduate degree program, this costs somewhere between $25,000 to $50,000 for a master's degree or a PhD. PhDs can run up into the 80,000s depending on where you go and what you're going to do with it. It just depends on the degree in the university. They also require 1 to 3 years of study to complete, as opposed to this program, which is you're going to have it complete before the end of the year. So by the end of December, you'll have your certification. And this is a highly specialized program. It's going to give you practical, immediately useful information and hands-on experience, which is what employers want. So if you're looking at this for reasons of advancement in your career, whether in your current district or looking at another district as a teacher, or if you're a parent and you're looking at going back into the field of training, or you want to work with parents at an agency or nonprofit organization. I have used my parent coaching, when I worked at some of these nonprofit agencies, I've told them I'm a parent coach, and they love the fact that I have that experience. So if you're looking at this for career advancement, this is exactly what you need, because it's going to give you experience and hands-on tools to use. And those of you who want to start a business, you're going to start earning right away as a coach or as a trainer. You can make a lot more money per hour as a coach or a trainer than you typically would at a nonprofit agency or government, or even at a school. So I make probably triple or quadruple the amount as a coach than I ever did as a teacher or in my nonprofit work. So again, thinking about your budgeting and your reasoning for joining the program. So if you were to go to a shorter program, like a week-long training, I've done some of those. I have, as I mentioned before, I'm certified in mental health first aid. I'm a certified mental health first aid trainer. So that program was about, I want to say it was in the neighborhood of $5,000 for that training, plus the hotel and the transportation, the flight to go to the place to do the training and all that. So it costs you in the neighborhood of $5,000 to $7,000 if you do a 1 week training with a place that's going to give you a certification, right? So this is a 6-month program as opposed to a 1-week program. And you can do it all from home. We have Zoom meetings, and it's all the curriculum is online in a special portal for you to access. So it's much more flexible that way. And the recordings are also provided. So if you can't make it to all of the evening sessions, you can watch the recording on your own time. Other online coach training programs, if you just Google parent coach training, if you go out there and look, you'll see that most of them range between $8,000 to $15,000 to do a program. But none of those programs have the same information that this program is all about. This program is about trauma, anxiety, and ACEs, and supporting children with really challenging behaviors as a result of their trauma. So we work with the most vulnerable and challenging children. The nice thing is that if you have that information, this applies to all children, right? You can still use the same tools and strategies for all children. It's just that you're going to be uniquely equipped to work with the most challenging children. Nobody else out there does what we do in this program. I'm very proud. As you can see, I'm very proud of this program. So I think you're going to really find it high caliber, excellent information. So with all that said, the total tuition for the Heartstrong International certificate programs, including the dual certification, if you choose that, is less than $5,000. So if you think about that comparatively, that's I think very reasonable. So this is the tuition. The professional certification for either the CET or the CPC program is $39.97. If you choose to do the dual certification program, then you add another $997 onto that base tuition price. So again, that first $3,997 is for one certification. If you want to do 2 certifications, you just add an additional $997. I did that because I didn't want you to have to come back and pay the $39.97 again to do the second certification. This way you can do them concurrently at the same time. Simultaneously, so that you can receive your certification for both of them by the end of December. So you won't have to come back to do additional coursework. You'll just have to double up a little bit during the second quarter. So if you're thinking, wow, that's quite an investment for some of you, it's something that you're used to investing in your professional development. But if you're wondering, how are you going to afford to pay it right now? I know some people are struggling because of the pandemic and for other reasons. So you can pay the tuition in full, but we also have payment plans available if you are in need of that. So I will send you a program information sheet. I'll send you a website that has all that information. If you're on the website now, I will probably post this recording at the top of the website page. So if you just scroll down a little bit, you'll see the payment plan options below. Most participants use a low or no interest credit card. That's what most people do. They'll just put it on a credit card, and then you can pay it off at your leisure, right? You can do long-term payoff, or you can pay it off 2 or 3 chunks, whatever works best for you, okay? In addition, I want to let you know, I try to make this available to everybody as much as I can. So I've got some scholarship money available, partial scholarships for those who need them. I have a $300 scholarship off, or $500 off of the tuition. Those scholarships are, the $500 scholarship is only going to be available for the early bird applicants this time. And that's subtracted from your tuition. So the $39.97, you take the $500 off of that, and it's going to be $34.97. So that's a nice chunk of a scholarship for you. If you're thinking about, especially if you're thinking about doing the dual certification, it's almost like you get 2 certifications for the price of 1. So that's a really nice option. So the early bird applications are due by April 10th. And then you would need to pay your full tuition or your first payment if you chose a payment plan by April 17th. I just want to remind you of the benefits of this certification. So you may be thinking, yeah, it sounds great, but what, is it worth the money? Is it worth the time? Is it worth the investment? Is it something I really want? And these are reasons why I think it's really going to benefit you. So you will have a certification that proves to anybody who wants to know that you've been through a trusted, effective program leading to professional credentials, right? Employers and parents want to feel confident. You can use our logo and put it right on your website and say, I'm a Heartstrong certified parent coach, or I'm a Heartstrong certified educational trainer. It gives you that credibility and that trust. You'll have the skills to advance your career. So others are going to see you as a trusted expert, right? You're going to be in the field of trauma responsive practices. You're going to be somebody who really knows what they're talking about. You're going to have cutting edge evidence based tools and strategies that you can use right away in your current position or to start your own business or to advance your career. And we're looking into the possibility of providing graduate credits for some of our courses, which we are not currently providing, but stay tuned because anybody who takes the course, if we do provide graduate credits at some point, that will be retroactive and you'll be able to apply for that. There may be a tuition depending on what university provides those, but I'll get you those details when it comes to that. But you can certainly use the PD hours or for any licensure requirements that you have. I'm going to give you a certificate that has the hours listed on it so you can use that for your PD. And that's going to depend on what your state or your province or wherever you live in the world, what their requirements are. Also, at the bottom of this page, it mentions I have had some participants get their schools to pay for their entire tuition. Even the business course was included in that. And schools seem to be really excited about people taking this program. So do check with your school before that April 10th early bird deadline. Check with them to see if they would be willing to pay for all or part of your tuition. If you have until May 1st to apply. That's the final deadline for applications. So that we still will have $300 scholarships available at that time. So do go ahead and check with your school if you are a teacher, because they may be able to provide that, or your employer if you're a parent or you're not working as a teacher currently. You're going to have the ability to use your skills and training to start a side business right away and potentially earn a lot of money doing that, or maybe even a full-time income. You're going to be doing what you love and what you're passionate about, serving students, teachers, and or families of our most vulnerable students. You'll have the satisfaction of knowing that you are part of a global movement for change in parenting and education. That's the goal of Heartstrong. It's not about, we're not about making a lot of money or just, that's not the point. The point is that you are going to make a change. You're going to make an impact on parents and kids. And this is my passion. I feel like we're not doing a good service for the kids that are struggling right now. So this is your chance to jump onto this paradigm shift and really be a leader and step up to the plate to do that. So you'll be part of a unique, exciting cohort of professionals with a Heartstrong mission that resonates and aligns with your own personal Heartstrong mission. After graduation, you'll be invited to join the Heartstrong Village, which is going to be a global community of Heartstrong professionals working to impact the way we raise and educate children through methods rooted in creativity, courage, and compassion. Heartstrong Village, we're just getting that off and running. Very excited about it. The benefits are going to be amazing. We're going to have quarterly meetings and do some other fun things too, maybe some retreats and things. You can become the one and only regional Heartstrong representative in your country or region and be the go-to expert for local coaching, support, and training. So I have graduates in New Zealand, in Canada, in various parts of the US, and those graduates that are in our Heartstrong Village now, they are now the regional Heartstrong expert, and they're the trusted trauma-informed trainers for that area. So you could become, for your city or for your state or for your, wherever you live, that region, you could be the person that people see as the expert that they're going to come to. And then if you choose to maintain your license as a Heartstrong educational trainer or coach, you will have access to the training portal and all the HSI curriculum and tools to use in your own practice. Additionally, your name will be listed on the website as a certified coach or trainer. And there is an additional fee to maintain that, but that fee is waived for the first year. So you get a whole year of Heartstrong Village and being on my website, which is an amazing benefit because that's going to help your marketing and getting your name out. So here's the application process. If you have attended this information session, you signed up for it on Eventbrite, I'm going to be emailing you a link to that webpage that I told you about. If you're looking at this on the webpage, the next step is to fill out an application. So if you just go down just a little bit, you'll see there's a downloadable application. It just says application. Click on that link. It'll download. Save it under your name. Don't just send it as application, because then I'll get 20 applications that say application. So save it under your name. Fill it out. Save it. Make sure it's saved correctly. Sometimes PDFs are weird on computers. So just if you have any trouble with the PDF, don't fret. Just download it, read the questions, and answer the questions on an email. As long as I get the answers, there are 3 questions with 3 text box, and then you just have to tell me which program you're applying for. If you're interested in a scholarship, make sure that you mention that on your application. You just need to write, please consider me for a scholarship. Again, those scholarships, the $500 scholarship is only available until the early bird deadline of May 1st. And then, I'm sorry, April 10th. I'm confusing myself. May 1st is the final application deadline, but if you're interested in that $500 scholarship, April 10th is the early bird enrollment or early bird application deadline. The payment deadline, the final payment deadline is May 15th. But if you're interested in that early bird price, April 17th is going to be your final day to pay your tuition. Okay. So I encourage you to sign up early, because, as I said, I can't guarantee that everyone will get a scholarship after the early bird closes. So you have a better chance of getting one if you sign up early. Enrollment is limited. You'll be notified of your acceptance within 48 hours of receipt of your application. And then once you're accepted, and I have to say I don't accept everyone, but if you've gotten this far through the presentation and you are excited about it, that means you probably are someone that is going to be accepted into the program. So once you're accepted, you're going to receive further instructions and an invoice for your tuition. Apply now. Check with your inbox when this training's over. Check for a link to the program page. Send an email or send your application to support@wingbuilder.com. That's support@wingbuilder.com. Program dates are June through December. Your tuition is listed there. Earlier bird application deadline is April 10th. Final application deadline is May 15th. I look forward to meeting you and hearing from you. I can't wait to see your application. I'm excited to work with you, and thank you so much for being part of this presentation. If you have any questions at all, make sure that you send me an email, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. All right, take care and have a wonderful evening.